Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, and welcome to this, our third webinar in partnership with Invest India and the Asia Toy and Play Association. And it's our second in the series of understanding the capacity and capability in various Indian states. Today, we'll be featuring the states of Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. And we're honoured to have senior representatives from those states share with us more information today. We're recording today's session, so we will be sending out a link to the recording afterwards. And there is also available in the GoToWebinar control panel the presentation that we'll be sharing today. So you can download that presentation. We will also email it to you afterwards, so you have a copy of that. There is the function to enable you to ask questions to any of the participants taking part today. So please type in your question. We'll try to answer those at the end of the presentations today. But if for any reason we can't, we'll follow up in email with all responses. So your questions are really important to us, and we will make sure they're answered. If we could just go to the first page of the presentation, I will take you through the agenda. Firstly, my name is Carmel Giblin, and I'm the CEO and President of IETP Ethical Toy Programme. And it's my absolute pleasure to be hosting today's webinar. I will share a little bit about the Ethical Toy Programme, but we don't want to take too much time today talking about us. We want to really give the time and attention to the Indian states so that you can all really understand the opportunities that are presented within those regions. After I've said a few words, my colleague at the Asia Toy and Play Association, Matteo Vizzoso, will share a few bits of information on their organisation and their activities. And then I'm very delighted to hand to Ms. Vada Teniga, who will talk about the work of Invest India. She will also deliver the words of the Joint Secretary, Mr. Agrawal, who unfortunately was due to join with us today, but due to internet connection problems is unable to. So Ms. Taniga will present his words on his behalf. And then she will hand over to the states. As I said, we have Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. So we very much look forward to learning more about the opportunities presented in those states. And we'll end with some time, if we have it, for live questions and answers. So please, as a reminder, type your questions in the question box on the control panel. And if we do run out of time and can't do the question and answer session live, then we will follow up with all questions on email afterwards. So the first slide, please, Anya. So the IETP Ethical Toy Programme. Hopefully most of you will know who we are, but I just wanted to take a moment to remind you. We are the organisation that was created by the global toy industry to monitor compliance and support factories in achieving the certification. So we set the standard for the ethical manufacturing of toys globally. We perform social audits and deliver factory certification to provide assurance to buyers and consumers globally that the toys that they are enjoying have been made with respect to workers. In order to help our factory members achieve the required standards, we provide them with lots of support, mostly in the form of training, which could be in person or virtual and online, and also bespoke capability building events for their own operations. We have a big focus on worker well-being. Workers are the most important part of any supply chain and the most important asset of a factory. So we want to make sure that workers participate and are involved in the programme. And we also offer support to workers through our helpline, and that provides support directly to workers, but also to factory management. And it helps us resolve issues and avoid confusion and misunderstanding between workers and management. So the worker helpline is a very important feature of our programme. And we are very focused on collaborating. We believe that by working together with other expert organizations, we can all achieve more and do that more efficiently and more effectively. And today's a great example of our relationships with Invest India and the Asia Toy and Play Association. As of today, we have about 1,200 factories in our program. The majority of those, around 90%, would actually be located in mainland China. But India is an increasingly important destination for international buyers, and therefore it's a very important destination for the ethical toy program. And we're committed to providing all the support that is needed from factories, from retailers and buyers looking to do successful business in India. I'll now hand over to Matteo, who will explain a little bit about the work of Asia Toy and Play Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmel, and good afternoon, everyone. Just for me, very briefly, a couple of words to thank both Invest India and ITP for co-organizing this third installment of the Made in India session. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about the Asia Toy and Play Association. We are a coalition of industry players with focus on Asia Pacific. Some of our members you can see here on this slide, and of course we focus a lot and we collaborate with a lot of industry partners, not only in the toy sector like IETP, but also a bit broader to make sure that you know the interest of at the end of the day of our customers, so the children are met. ATPA, of course, has a very strong commitment to children's safety, and of course a lot of the activities that we do have that in mind. We promote responsible leadership as well, also learning through play. We believe that you know, learning through play is really an important part of a child development. And of course, last but not least, we support and we promote ethical trading and ethical manufacturing, and hence the collaboration with the ethical toy program. Next slide, please. We do focus across mainly three pillars: policy, public awareness, and business support. When it comes to policy, we do work and with governments, policymakers to facilitate and to promote trade, and of course to give access to children to very high quality and safe toys. We also are a platform to develop industry topics of interest, so we also engage with different policymakers and different stakeholders to promote those trends and those topics which are of interest to the toy industry. We provide business support activities and services to companies that want to expand to Asia, from Asia, and within Asia. So thanks to our network, very capillary in all the countries, we can do some business matching and create a connection for companies that want to source, they want to sell, they want to buy, and so on. Of course, currently we carry out all these activities in a virtual way, more or less, due to the pandemic. But of course, in the future, when we will be able to travel, you'll see us much more in person in a lot of countries. Next slide. And just to give you a very brief overview of what we've been doing in India, we've been engaging a lot with the government at various levels on the quality control order, providing recommendation, providing input on the QCO. Of course, all our members welcome the QCO because ultimately it will increase the quality of toys in India, and also will support you know, the India as a toy manufacturing base. And of course, the series of webinars that we are organizing with ITP and Invest India is part of these activities to really raise the profile of India. We've been also having a lot of public awareness engagement with other associations in India, again promoting learning through play, and you know, advocating for sustainability, toy safety, etc. And then thanks to our business support, some of Indian manufacturers are using us to really spread out and connect to potential buyers overseas. So we've been helping some of our members based in India to really get out and grow their business. Events, very simple. This is one example, and then we are going to continue to do those with our partners. But I'll stop here. Don't want to steal more time from the States, and I'm very much looking forward to the Q&A later, and also to what the States will have to say, because the toy industry is really looking forward to grow in India, for India, and also outside. So thank you very much once again, and over to you again.
Thank you very much, Matteo. We're going to actually now move to Vada from Invest India. Thank you, Vada.
Thank you, Kamal and Matteo. Hi, everyone. I'm Varda. I represent the toys sector at Invest India. And we are continuing our great partnership with IETP and ATPA on the promotion of the Indian toy industry as a base for local manufacturing and sourcing of toys for global brands and manufacturing players. And it is in this context today that I want to share with you, I want to share with all of you a little bit about where India stands right now and what is this Indian toy industry that we're talking about. So today, India is really growing as the world's economic powerhouse. Yeah, so the world is really looking to India to drive global growth. In a span of just a few years, India has become the fastest growing G20 economy and #3 economy by PPP alone. It is actually, India is adding $1 trillion to its economy every single year. So while it took us about 63 years to become a $1 trillion economy, and another 10 years to add the next $5 trillion, it is actually no surprise that from the 10th largest economy back in 2011, India is poised to become the 3rd largest economy of 2030. We also have the 2nd largest number of internet users, startups. We are truly working towards paving the way for future growth. All of this is coupled in India with a great increase in the well-to-do household segment in the country. The consumer spending in India is at an all-time rise. There is a 2.5x increase in the per capita income and the per capita spends of the people. India's attractiveness as an investment destination is only enhanced by the presence of our large and young workforce, a young population with an average age of 29 years. This young population, which is sort of known as this pool of the Gen I population, have a keenness to spend, a greater appetite for comfortable living. So, this is a little bit about the background of where the Indian consumer is at. And, to promote manufacturing in our country, the government has taken forth a strong reform-led agenda where we are focused on improving cost of doing business, ease of doing business, and risk of doing business. There has been a reduction in corporate tax for companies. There has been a simplification of business processes to accelerate investments. One of the biggest reforms that our government introduced was the implementation of the GST, which has led to a significant reduction in manufacturing and logistics costs in the country. And all of this, coupled with strong democratic institutions, ensure an extremely low risk for investors in the country. We actually, in a time in the pandemic time when global FDI actually fell by more than 40% globally, India was actually an outlier with an increasing FDI by 13%, which has actually been commendable. Now, if we look at the toy opportunity in particular, a large proportion of the entire global toy industry is dependent on global trade. But we feel that new geopolitical trends, they're making way forward for altered trade dynamics. And, it is pushing people to look at new manufacturing locations across the globe. And we feel that India is very well positioned to be this alternative location for toy manufacturing and sourcing for companies like yours. And so why India, right? Why are we looking at India? The reason we look at India is because we have a well-developed ecosystem of raw materials spread across the country. We already have an emergence of certain clusters taking place in the country where there is some plug-and-play infrastructure already available. For example, one in the south. And there is a plan for creation of other such clusters in the country as well. We have a well-developed ecosystem of raw material. We have a fiber, textile, for manufacturing of plush toys. We have a well-developed precision tooling and molding ecosystem. which is very important for your electronic remote control toys, etc. So we're rapidly growing, and trying to come up to the expectations of the global companies as well, to compete with the manufacturing in other nations as well. It's actually very interesting to note that if we look at the manufacturing costs, labor costs in India, which actually comprise a large proportion of toy manufacturing, are cheapest amongst all the other competing geographies in the world. The rate of growth of wages is relatively lower, and rate of growth of productivity of our labor is also relatively higher. Even if we compare the factor costs of power, India is very competitive, and even if we include water, India is actually more competitive in the factor cost of power and water in comparison to other competing nations. Supporting this entire ecosystem is a very robust logistics network. We have efficient, well-connected ports, railways, and roads to meet export needs. There has been a 57% increase in port capacity in the past 4 years. A further 100% on this is expected. There is a national infrastructure pipeline which is being created with an investment of $1.4 trillion by the government only on logistics and infrastructure, which is going to lead to a great reduction in capital and capex for investors, will lower overall freight costs, warehousing costs, etc. Give a boost to the toy ecosystem in particular. The government has actually come up with a very robust action plan, a toy action plan, which cuts across 15 different ministries. And some of the points include creation of toy clusters, creation of a central level scheme to provide incentives for toy manufacturing, increasing the testing infrastructure in the country with the introduction of the quality control order. All this is in process. There is a plan to introduce toys as a learning resource and integrating toys as a part of the school curriculum. As a part of the national education policy that has come up. There's a plan to have a lot of public procurement of toys. And in addition to that, there are a lot of toy hackathons and other promotional activities which are being done to encourage local toy manufacturing and sourcing. The Invest India team is actually working very, very closely with the local MSME ecosystem to help them in capacity building and help them showcase themselves as manufacturers for global toy players. In fact, in line with that, we have the first India Toy Fair coming up at the end of this week, from the 27th of February to the 2nd of March. And we welcome all of you to participate in this virtual toy fair. Come and have a look at the manufacturing prowess and the display of the various manufacturers in India, the kind of products that they can make, and see how they can suit your needs for sourcing in the country, and explore India as your next manufacturing base in India. So Invest India is actually the national Invest India is the national investment promotion and facilitation agency of the government of India. We are working very closely with many toy manufacturers such as yours. We are working with all the state governments as well, with the MSMEs as well, in promoting toy manufacturing and sourcing in the country. We are working with the Department of Industrial Promotion and Internal Trade on the formulation of the new toy scheme as well. And we'd be happy to connect with you, identify your market entry strategy for India, work with you closely on identifying the right location for your manufacturing unit, or even for you to find partners to source with, connecting you with local associations, etc. So please do reach out to us. We have the email ID mentioned on the screen right now, and we are working very closely with IETP and ATPA as well. So feel free to reach out to any of us to take your request forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vada. I think the information, the support, and the expertise of Invest India is unrivaled, really, and I would really encourage all of the companies that are interested in doing business in India to reach out to the team at Invest India and ask them how they can support them with your specific requirements. They really are there to help and make doing business in India easy for everyone. Just a quick reminder to ask any questions that you may have through the question function within the system. So I will now, I think I am due to pass to, is it Uttar Pradesh first of all, or Gujarat? I'm not sure which state we are going to first. Do we have, I think on the agenda it says Gujarat first.
Yes, so we will, yes, on the agenda it says Gujarat first. So we have Mr. M.K. Das, Additional Chief Secretary, Industries and Mines Department of Gujarat, to take the floor.
Great, thank you. We'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Neelam Rani. I'm the Managing Director, Industrial Extension Bureau, Government of Gujarat, which is an investment promotion agency for the state government of Gujarat. First, I would like to apologize on behalf of Mr. M.K. Das, who is the Additional Chief Secretary, Industry and Mines. He could not attend the meeting just because of some urgent meeting at the CM office, so he had to leave. So I will be representing Government of Gujarat on behalf of Mr. M.K. Das. So as we all know that Gujarat is highly industrialized state, greatly industrialized, fast-growing state with a conducive ecosystem for industrial growth and development in the country. So given our strong hold in industrial development of the country, we contribute 8% of India's GDP, along with the 6% of India's population. So we have seen an impressive growth rate of 13% since last 10 years, and that has been highest among many industrialized states in India. It's worth to mention that we have accounted for 53% of India's FDI in the first half of 2020 and 2021, and the total growth rate we can witness in the last year is 540% in comparison to the previous year of 2019. We account for 70% of India's industrial output, which is highest across the country, and we are among the top 2 states in terms of domestic investment, in terms of IEM filed and the IEM implemented in the country. We account for over 23% of India's export and catering to almost 180 countries, and we are ranked first in the first and second quarter of 2020 and 21 for export. So we are moving forward towards optimizing the potential of logistic infrastructure and future export with the development of 6 new upcoming ports in the state. Gujarat is known for being manufacturing capital of the country, and we account for 37% of manufacturing sector in state's GDP. We have 43 ports with the robust logistic infrastructure in the states. We account for 40% of India's cargo, and state is the home to India's largest commercial port at Mundra. We have been ranked first for the Export Preparedness Index by Niti Aayog in the last year, given the promoting policy and robust infrastructure for export in the country. We have also been ranked first in the Logistic Ease Across Different State Index consecutively for 2 years in 2018 and 2019. Now the question comes how we are placed to welcome the toy industries in Gujarat. We are abundant in producing supplementary components which are intensively used for toy manufacturing. So Gujarat is a national leader in output of plastic raw material and packaging material, which are essential for as a raw material of toy manufacturing. We have seen the robust growth in export of key toy component that includes woods and wood products, molded and extruded goods, packaging material and plastic items, which I have already mentioned. Recently taking a one step ahead basically to handhold and promote the toy manufacturing and innovation in the state, Gujarat iHub, which is an incubation center, recently signed an MOU with Gujarat-based toy companies to explore opportunities for engaging with innovators and startup, which will basically boost innovation in toy designing in the state. We are coming up with the world's largest toy museum that is being set up in Gujarat at Gift City. So some toys companies who are the well-known name across the countries are operating in Gujarat. If we talk about the policy under which this sector is covered, that is the General Industrial Policy 2020. We came up with the new policy aiming to boost the investment in the state in the post-COVID world. And the main feature of the policy is we offer the capital subsidy up to 12% to the fixed capital investment. We facilitate industry in getting government land on long-term lease basis to up to 50 years at the 6% of India of the market rate of the state land. We have provision for the relocation subsidy on case-to-case basis. The units which are willing to locate from the outside world to the state, we offer 50% of capital subsidy up to 75 lakh rupees to industries practicing at least 50% waste recovery through zero liquid discharge. So we are promoting the green method of technologies and the green output in the state. Financial support up to 30 crore for development of industrial infrastructure has also been provisioned in the new policy. Land, which is the most crucial factor in terms of setting up an industry anywhere in the world. We have substantial availability of land with us. Over 33,000 hectare industrial land available across the state in terms of special investment regions, special economic zones, and GIDC estates for the investors. The land is available with advanced infrastructure, industrial infrastructure. Gujarat government has identified 5 locations for setting up of toy manufacturing industries, which is strategically located from the ancillary support and well-developed integrated value chain point of view. Morbi, which is a clock manufacturing hub, is now being developed as a toy part manufacturing hub in the state. If we talk about the other factors of productions, that is the fundamental of the industrial development. We have the robust infrastructure in terms of our port, given the 1600 plus kilometer coastline that provide outlet for export to Middle East, Europe, and East Africa. We are the power surplus state, providing 24/7 uninterrupted power to the industries. Recently, here I would like to mention about the recent development in terms of solar policy in the states where the industries has been allowed to put in captive plant and meet with their power requirement, full of their power requirement through the solar and renewable energy sources. Earlier, the cap was of 50%. So now we are moving towards maximum utilization of the renewable energy and towards the sustainable development growth in the state. We have the statewide gas grid and 3 LNG terminals. Gujarat is among the only 3 states in India to have more than 10 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity and is geared up to have 30,000 megawatt by 2022. Gujarat government is a proactive, stable, committed government with the consistent policy, promoting policy of industries in the state. We have taken up a number of initiatives to boost investment and handhold our investors in the state. We have established the dedicated investor desk at Index B, where the dedicated relationship manager would be handholding in the company, start from the concept to start till the commissioning and beyond that. Our policies are dynamic and we have the user-friendly investor facilitation portal which provides seamless approval for various permission compliances. More than 670,000 applications has been processed so far through this portal, where we have eliminated the human interface from getting the approvals and permissions in the state. We have come up with an MSME Act. The Act exempts MSMEs from obtaining approval for 3 years, and this has come with the concept first production, then permission. We have come up with a Gujarat Land Bank, that is the digital GIS-based map of industrial land, where all the availability of all the information, relevant and requisite information regarding the plug-and-play infrastructure, regarding the availability of land available, and that is only the one click away from the investors. We have recently, after post-COVID scenario, we have come up with a Labor Act where we have exempted the industries from almost all labor laws for 1,000 days. So there are a number of initiatives government of Gujarat has taken to promote investment in the state. Basically, dedicatedly, we are trying to put an conducive ecosystem environment for the toy manufacturing industries. We are very actively engaging our toy manufacturers. So here, I would like to welcome Mr. Arvind Jhala, Director Aditi Group, who have been in the toy manufacturing in Gujarat since 2015. I welcome Mr. Arvind Jhala. The floor is yours. I would like you to request to share your experience in Gujarat. Thank you very much.
हम पिछले 6 साल से ये टॉयज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बिजनेस में है। गुजरात में राजकोट लोकेशन पे हमारा फैक्ट्री है और हमें गुजरात में गवर्नमेंट की जो इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी है इसमें से काफ़ी बेनिफिट्स मिले हैं, जो कि कैपिटल सब्सिडी मिला है, इंटरेस्ट सब्सिडी मिला है और यहाँ पे जो लैंड का कॉस्ट है वो भी अब गवर्नमेंट ने नई पॉलिसी कर दी है कि वो 6% के लॉन्ग लीज बेस पे लैंड भी मिलेगी। तो गुजरात में बेसिकली टॉय इंडस्ट्री के लिए बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, क्योंकि जो रॉ मटेरियल है टॉयज के वो भी गुजरात में इजी अवेलेबल है। जो प्लास्टिक ग्रेन्यूल्स है उसके भी रिलायंस का और ओपेल का गुजरात में प्लांट है। और जैसा कि मैम ने बताया कि जो नियर बाय सिटी है हमारे राजकोट से मोरबी, वहाँ पे टॉयज के सारे जो माइक्रो पार्ट्स है वो भी इजी अवेलेबल है और हमें गुजरात में काफी इतने साल से काम कर रहे हैं, इसमें कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं आ रहा है और काफी हम एवरी ईयर 100% के ग्रोथ से चल रहे हैं। 2015 से हमारा बिजनेस चालू किया है और आज हम एवरी ईयर 100% ग्रोथ पे काम कर रहे हैं और काफी हमें ये स्टेट में मजा आ रहा है। जो लेबर लॉज है उसमें भी अभी तो काफी रिलैक्सेशन मिल गया है कि 1000 डेज के लिए कोई भी लेबर लॉ फॉलो नहीं करना है, पहले प्रोडक्शन सेटअप करना है, इसके बाद ये सब लॉ में जाना है। तो ये बहुत ही अच्छा है, नए आने वाले एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए ये बहुत ही अच्छी चीज है। बाकी जो टॉय इंडस्ट्री में जो स्किल्ड और अनस्किल्ड लेबर चाहिए वो भी इजी अवेलेबल है गुजरात में पूरी तरह से। और एंसिलरी यूनिट्स भी काफी टॉय इंडस्ट्री के लिए मेनली एंसिलरी जो यूनिट्स है उसमें पैकेजिंग इंडस्ट्री, मोल्ड इंडस्ट्रीज वो सब है। तो वो काफी बहुत सारे यूनिट्स गुजरात में अवेलेबल है और कभी भी कोई पार्ट्स खरीदने में या परचेस करने में कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं आती है। तो इसी मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस ये है कि हमें काफी सही से हम डेवलप हो पाए, क्योंकि काफी सारे जो टॉयज इंडस्ट्री के लिए जो भी चीजें चाहिए वो सारी इजी अवेलेबल है और गवर्नमेंट भी काफी सपोर्टिव है और बैंकिंग और सारा सब्सिडी वगैरह सब कुछ अच्छा मिल रहा है और हमने 3 बार गुजरात गवर्नमेंट की सब्सिडी भी ली है और काफी सपोर्टिव।
Thank you very much, Mr. Avinzala, for your words and your information about your company and your success story. And also thank you to Ms. Neelam Rana for the presentation on Gujarat. We very much appreciate your time. I would now like to hand over and introduce Mr. Arvind Kumar and Mr. Naresh Gupta, who will share some information with us on Uttar Pradesh. Thank you.
So, thank you everyone, and thank you participants from abroad and from the Toy Association. I am Arvind Kumar, Additional Chief Secretary, Industrial Development, looking after this sector. So, this is an opportunity for me to showcase the opportunities available in the Uttar Pradesh. As you are already aware, Uttar Pradesh is the 4th largest economy, and the state's GSDP has grown 10% in the last 3 years. Now, as against the common perception, in the past years, we have streamlined our processes and as per the government direction. Now, in the last ranking, Uttar Pradesh has come up as a second ranker in the EODB ranking, whereas we earlier were at the 12th place. So, Uttar Pradesh has now come as an achiever state, and we are striving that we simplify the processes further and bring down the regulatory compliance burden so that we make an ecosystem for investment in UP, and we come at the first rank, and that will be our attempt now. So UP is also amongst the top 5 exporting states of India, registering highest export growth of 18% year-on-year basis. There is a large ecosystem of industrial parks and clusters, and the land bank available has been made online available, and it has been integrated with the IAS dashboard, which the government of India has piloted. So there is plenty of land which is available, and I'll come to the specifics of it also. The UP also has about 230 million population, and that is the consumer base which is available. So it is a big market which is available to any investor. And there is a rapid urbanization going on. And the per capita income has also been increasing steadily in the last 3 years. We have a good educational system in place, so there is a lot of skilled manpower available. We have a large network of universities, colleges, ITIs. The details can be seen on the presentation. So there is a huge ecosystem which is available for and the trained manpower. There is no dearth of trained manpower. So UP is the pioneering state in the one district, one product scheme, and based on the UP's experience, now the government of India is also following it up on the same line, and this is now becoming a nationwide scheme in that sense. So UP has identified different key products in its various districts which have the export potential, which has a remarkable market potential, and UP is specifically designing programs for promoting those products. Chitrakoot here and Jhansi are toy manufacturing clusters already. The soft toys are being made in Jhansi, and Chitrakoot is also famous for wooden toys. We have about 76 toy manufacturing companies which are already present across 21 districts of the state, and Meerut and Noida are the modern toy manufacturing clusters in the state. Besides this, Agra, Azamgarh, Lucknow and Varanasi are also traditional toy manufacturing clusters in the state, and you must be aware that Varanasi is famous for wooden toys, etc. And Honorable PM has also mentioned in various speeches and his programs. So this is the environment which is available. We have a specific policy. This is a general policy for promoting industrial investments and employment promotion policy 2017. The benefits which are available under the policy have been enlisted, and we are also working specifically on a toy policy. Our MSME department is coming up with this policy, and this is in the final stages, and we hope to get it out within a month or two. So that specific policy will also be coming up, but the IETP policy is already available, and the incentives there are also quite lucrative, and it has led to a lot of investment MOU signing, and the MOUs are also materializing in UP. We have a Nivesh Mitra portal, which we are now integrating with the Government of India portal also. And so this is a single window system which is available, and all the clearances are available online with respect to setting up of industries. So there will be, and there is a time-bound scheme which is available. So, and this is monitored at the highest level. So this is an investor-friendly environment which we have built up. So the existing international toy clusters are available, and toy manufacturing units are operational in Greater Noida. This is in Ecotech 3, which is a toy city, and there is 56 acres of land with 85 land parcels, and the units have become operational now on 64 land parcels. Now we are also coming up with an international toy city in Yamuna Expressway, and about 100 acres of land has been earmarked in Sector 33. I have given the details here. Already we have sold out about 42 acres of land in this cluster, and still about 58 acres of land is available. And I have given the details here on as to where to one can contact for if one wants these plots to be made available to them. Now, as regards the supporting infrastructure, UP is developing its own expressways, and I think UP very shortly will become a land of 5 expressways. Yamuna Expressway is already operational, Agra Expressway is already operational, and now we are operationalizing Purvanchal Expressway also, which is likely to be open by April. And there are 3 more expressways which are lined up. The industrial corridor, the DMIC and AKIC, are also passing through UP, and we are working towards it, and we'll make it operational. Already 8.5% of DMIC work and 57% of AKIC catchment area which is passing through UP will be benefited by these corridors. The expressways I have mentioned, and UP is also coming up with the largest international airport, which is very close to Noida in Jewar. And the Swiss company has already taken the bids, and the work is going on at a very fast pace. And we are also operationalizing about 25 domestic airports through the RCS scheme. So the connectivity will also shortly no longer be an issue. And all these airports are coming up very rapidly. So the contact details I have given about the Yamuna Expressway GIS link as to which person can be contacted, it can be noted, and the plots in the Yamuna Expressway cluster are already available here. So this is what I wanted to say. There are 5 more MSME clusters which MSME has requested, which MSME UP has requested MSME GOI. I'm told already Chitrakoot cluster has already been sanctioned. Lucknow cluster is already will be sanctioned in the next meeting. This is what my information is. And 3 more clusters are being examined at the Government of India level, and they will also soon be sanctioned, and then we'll develop them also. So I will now invite Mr. Naresh Gupta, who is a partner with us, and he is already having an operational unit in Noida, and he has also booked up the space in the upcoming Yamuna Expressway cluster. So Mr. Naresh Gupta, over to you.
थैंक यू अरविंद सर का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि मुझे आपने एक टॉय यूपी के अंदर जो टॉय क्लस्टर लगने जा रहा है मेरे को मौका दिया आपने। जैसा कि अरविंद सर ने ध्यान कराया कि यूपी इज द ओनली स्टेट जिसमें हमें टॉयज के लिए स्केल अप करने के लिए बहुत अच्छे चांसेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज नजर आई हैं। अभी जैसा अरविंद सर ने भी ध्यान कराया, अभी टॉय क्लस्टर जो हमने कोरोना पीरियड के अंदर हमने लखनऊ जाके और सिद्धार्थनाथ सिंह जी से एमएसएमई सेक्रेटरी से मिलके 100 एकड़ का प्लॉट लेके और जिसके अंदर हमने 108 एप्लीकेंट को अलॉट कर दिया, ये मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा अपने माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी जी का। और उन्होंने ऐसा हमें भरोसा भी दिलाया है कि इसके लिए टॉय पॉलिसी के लिए हमने रिक्वेस्ट डाली थी, तो वो भी हालांकि 4-5 महीने हो गए हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने हमें भरोसा दिलाया है कि यूपी विल टेकिंग द लीड ऑफ द टॉय फॉर द टॉय मैन्युफैक्चरर। और ये हिंदुस्तान में सबसे बड़ी स्टेट भी है और सबसे बड़ा टॉयज का हब यहाँ पे बनने जा रहा है। जैसा कि सर ने भी ध्यान कराया कि 5 क्लस्टर ऑलरेडी लगे हुए हैं और एक ये टॉय पार्क के नाम से जेवर एयरपोर्ट जो बन रहा है उसमें आ रहा है। इसके अंदर मैं थोड़ा सा ये और चाहूंगा, अगर टॉय इंडस्ट्रीज को स्केल अप करना है, जो कि गैप हमारा 80% जो चाइना से टॉय आता था उसको गैप फिलअप करने के लिए टॉय की पॉलिसी बहुत जरूरी है। इसको जितना जल्दी हम लेके आएंगे उतना ही जल्दी हम टॉयज को यूपी के अंदर स्केल अप कर पाएंगे। टॉय पॉलिसी से मेरा ध्यान कराने का है कि एक तो हमें मशीनरीज जो कि क्योंकि हमें चाइना से कम्पीट करना है, हमें चाइना के रेटों को कम्पीट करते हुए एक्सपोर्ट भी करना है और अपने जो इन हाउस जो हमारा गैप है उसको भी फिलअप करना है। तो उसके लिए हमें एक तो मशीनरीज पे सब्सिडी में हमें मिले, लेबर ओरिएंटेड वर्क है हमारी टॉय इंडस्ट्री में, तो हमें पीएफ वगैरह में कुछ हमें सब्सिडी अगर दे देंगे तो हम बहुत ज्यादा इसमें लेबर को वॉल्यूम दे पाएंगे। एज ऑन डेट जो मेरे पास जानकारी है, डाटा है, उसमें मोर देन 500 करोड़ का टर्नओवर केवल नोएडा और ग्रेटर नोएडा डिस्ट्रिक्ट से इसमें आ रहा है, जिसके अंदर 65 जैसा ध्यान कराया जो यूनिट्स मैन्युफैक्चर्ड हैं अमंग द 21 डिस्ट्रिक्ट। सबसे ज्यादा अगर टर्नओवर दे पा रहा है तो हमारा गौतम बुद्ध नगर दे पा रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी इसका वॉल्यूम हम कम से कम 10 गुना कर सकते हैं अगर टॉय पॉलिसी आ जाए, क्योंकि ये एनसीआर के बहुत नजदीक है। इसके अंदर हमें लैंड की भी हमें रिबेट अगर देने का उन्होंने वादा करा है। इसके साथ साथ जो टेक्नोलॉजी हमें अपग्रेड करने के लिए मैं ये प्रार्थना करूंगा अरविंद सर से और यूपी गवर्नमेंट से भी कि हम कुछ यहाँ पे अपने जो टॉयज इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टॉयज नहीं बनते उनको भी बनाना। अभी तक यहाँ पे केवल एक फैक्ट्री यहाँ पे है जो टॉयज की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टॉयज बना रही है, तो मैं ये चाहूंगा अगर कुछ ऐसी स्कीम लाई जाए जिसमें कुछ प्लेयर्स इसमें बहुत इच्छुक हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टॉयज बनाने के लिए, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी अवेलेबल नहीं है, मशीनरीज अवेलेबल नहीं है, उनके लिए कुछ स्टडी टूर अरेंज कर दिए जाएं। और हमें बाहर जैसे थाईलैंड है, स्पेन है, वहां पे बहुत अच्छी अच्छी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंडस्ट्रीज हैं। अगर वहां पे हमें कोई स्टडी टूर के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाए तो मैं निश्चित रूप से दावे से कह सकता हूं कि विद इन ए ईयर कम से कम 10 टॉयज मैन्युफैक्चरर जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक टॉयज बनाना चाहते हैं वो 1 साल के अंदर अंदर इसको सेटअप कर लेंगे। ऐसा मेरी प्रार्थना है अरविंद सर से भी और यूपी गवर्नमेंट से भी। और इसके साथ साथ जो एमएसएमई यूनिट्स का इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल रहने वाला है टॉयज के को स्केल अप करने के लिए, तो मैं ये चाहूंगा जैसा कि भी हमारी योगी माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी की एक इच्छा भी है कि एमएसएमईज आगे बढ़े, उसके लिए फ्लैटेड फैक्ट्रीज का जो एक थोड़ा सा मूवमेंट चल रही है उसके लिए भी शीघ्रता से डिसीजन लें और उसको कम से कम 30 साल की लीज पे अगर दिया जाए तो यहाँ पे एमएसएमई यूनिट्स इस टॉय सेक्टर में बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं। इसके साथ साथ चूंकि यहाँ पे अभी टॉय की नई डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पा रही, उसके लिए एक R&D हमारा डिवीजन यहाँ पे खुलना चाहिए। उसके लिए मैं प्रार्थना करूंगा कि टॉय सिटी जो ग्रेटर नोएडा में 5 एकड़ की लैंड कम से कम 20 साल से वैकेंट पड़ी है, उसका कोई यूज नहीं हो पा रहा, तो उसको भी अगर टॉय डिजाइन इंस्टीट्यूट के नाम से ही वो अलॉट की गई थी और एमएसएमई उसकी मतलब उसके ओनर है, तो इसको अगर हमें टॉय डिजाइन के नाम से इसको मतलब बना के और हमें टॉय एसोसिएशन को रन करने दिया जाए तो मैं दावे से कह सकता हूं कि R&D भी यहाँ पे टॉयज की हो सकती है। इसके साथ साथ एक और मैं प्रार्थना करना चाहूंगा कि जो NID और IIT के स्टूडेंट्स जो इच्छुक हैं टॉय इंडस्ट्रीज में आने के लिए, उनके लिए एक इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम हमें अवेलेबल कराएं। 4-4 महीने 6-6 महीने हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज में आए, उनका एक तो इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट होगा, एक उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी जनरेट हो पाएगा। ये सब चीजें अगर हमें मिल जाएंगी तो मैं निश्चित रूप से कह सकता हूं कि पूरे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर यूपी इसको लीड कर पाएगा, जो अभी भी लीड कर रहा है और आगे भी लीड कर पाएगा। मैं अपनी बात को समाप्त करूंगा, यही। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Mr. Good, for sharing your
suggestions have been noted, and I am sure the MSME department is already working on it. As I just mentioned, that they are coming up with the toy policy. It is already under circulation and for the approval of the cabinet. We'll shortly be coming up with it. As regards your other suggestions, we have noted them and we'll surely work on them. Thank you.
तो इसमें मैं ये प्रार्थना करूंगा कोलैबोरेशन कराइए, कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी दिलवाइए हमें जरा। मैं इमीडिएटली 3 महीने के अंदर
we'll have a separate meeting with you and we'll organize it with MSME also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar and Mr. Gupta, for the very interesting information sharing on Uttar Pradesh. I would now like to welcome Mr. Mahajan from the Tamil Nadu state. We very much look forward to hearing more about Tamil Nadu. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to everyone. I hope my audio is clear and you are able to hear me.
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
A very good afternoon, Ms. Carmel, Mr. Matteo. Thank you for being with us and hearing us out today. I'll just briefly talk about the toy sector landscape in Tamil Nadu, and then maybe we can take it up from there and we can connect separately to discuss it further in detail if required. So just briefly about Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is a state in the southern part of the country, and it's largely an industrialized, urbanized state with more than 50% urban population, and also contributes around 8% to the national GDP. So in that terms, it is the second largest economy in the country. In terms of various parameters which show how developed the state is, you can, whether it is power or the demography or the skill set of the young population or the amount of industrialization that has happened, we are right there at the top with some of the other states. So for example, like I said, there's almost 50% of the state is categorized in the urban category, and there are around 6 airports, and we have nearly 22 seaports, which makes it a very appropriate trading and export hub as well. So I come from the MSME department. There's a separate setup for policy support and incentives for the SME sector. In that, Tamil Nadu again has a very vibrant MSME network. There are nearly 4.9 million MSMEs in the state, which employ more than 9.6 million people and produce more than 6,000 products. And it's worthy to note that the MSME sector contributes nearly 50% of the state's exports. So it's also very high on the quality of output that the MSME sector produces. So about the toy ecosystem as of now in Tamil Nadu, largely the manufacturing is based out of the large manufacturers are based. The Fun School is the largest manufacturer, which is present in Ranipet. Otherwise, the sector is largely fragmented, and there are a lot of smaller players. It's not very organized, so it's mostly in the SME space, like I said. As of now, there is one particular industrial park that is coming up. It's called the Polymer Park. It's almost 260 acres of land is being developed, where we are inviting applications for setting up of units and industries related to plastics and polymers. So a lot of traditional toys are available, and like I said, mostly it's the traditional and the handicraft toy sector which is more predominant in the state. And one of the very typical item would be the dancing dolls of Tanjavur, which is also received the geographical indication. So these are some of the districts in the state which have presence of the toy manufacturers. Largely, like you can see, it's mostly traditional clay based toys and ceramic based toys. Like I said, Fun School is one of the large manufacturers which has 2 plants in a place called Ranipet in the state. So these are some of the traditional items. The picture that you see on the right at the top is the Tanjavur dolls. So this is a very a peculiar item to Tamil Nadu, and it's a dancing doll, and it has received the geographical indication recognition from the registry. Similarly, there are other board games, traditional toys. We've recently now started promoting and supporting the traditional toy manufacturers to start utilizing new age products, e-commerce to sort of market their products. And we've recently signed a Flipkart with the e-commerce major Flipkart in Tamil Nadu to promote e-marketing and selling of the traditional toys through online marketing platforms. Next one, please. I'm part of the organization that is called MSME Trade and Investment Promotion Bureau, and we organize and participate in a lot of national and global events, and we help our industries also to take part in these events so as to expose them to new markets and provide them new opportunities. These are some of the events in which we've participated, and as you know, the Indian Toy Fair is now planned to start on the 27th, and we are looking forward to that as well. These are some of the areas. If you can see the map on the right, that's largely that's the geography of Tamil Nadu, and the ones that are colored in the those are the districts where we've started to work on developing toy clusters. The red ones we've identified, which is mainly the Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu, and the area around it, to be developed as a modern toy hub. The green ones are the ones which have a traditional core strength in clay toys, and then the Tanjavur doll and wooden toys in the purple one. So these are the broad areas which we've identified, and we are now taking special initiatives to promote these areas as toy hubs. So these are some of these schemes. I'll not go through them in detail. These are some of the flagship schemes of the MSME department, which we under which we offer various kinds of incentives and SOPs to industry to set up their units in the state. The cluster development program focuses on large-scale infrastructural development for the purposes of the industry. It's a government of India run scheme, which is implemented in partnership with the state. So the clusters that I showed you in the previous slide, we are planning to implement a lot of infrastructural development initiatives under in those clusters under this scheme. This is a brief snapshot of the kind of incentives that are offered to SMEs who want to establish their units in the state. We've also come out recently with our new policy. It's just 1 week back we've come out with the new policy, and a lot of these have been upgraded. So for example, just to give you an example, around 25% subsidy is offered on the total investment in plant and machinery to set up units in the backward areas of the state, and also for the thrust sectors which are defined in the policy. Similarly, there's a subsidy on your power costs, and also for skill training of your workers. Next one, please. In this image, you can see the industrial landscape in the state. The one that you see on the top right, towards the top right, is the capital of the state and the neighboring larger Chennai area, where there's a lot of gathering of parks, industrial parks, and special economic zones. Similarly, on the western side, you can see two big clusters, and now in the southern districts also, as in the new industrial policy, we're offering many new incentives to set up industry in the southern part of the state. In terms of facilitating the investors, there is a very robust single window portal, which is essentially a online platform where you can apply at a single place for all the clearances that are required from various departments to run your factory. As of now, the portal offers 39 services under 15 departments. It is now being revamped. It is undergoing a major revamp, and it will be offering more than 200 services in a few months. So being the SME sector, and most of the toy production is in the SME space, you know that there's a lot of it's a labor intensive industry. So in terms of the skilled manpower that is produced every year in Tamil Nadu, I think we would be right at the top. Almost 576 engineering colleges, more than 1500 industrial training institutes that produce nearly 1 million graduates who join the state economy every year. So in terms of the availability of a skilled workforce, Tamil Nadu has great strength there. So these are some of the areas where we would love to interact further with you and see what opportunities there are, and we would probably take it up with you after this session. And one is obviously manufacturing in those areas which I had highlighted in one of my slides. So setting up of the contemporary and electronic toys, or whether it is promoting and helping with new designs and technology for our traditional toy sectors, or improvement in the quality and standards, or helping us with further marketing opportunities. So these are the broad areas where we are looking for opportunities to collaborate with you. So thank you once again. Thanks to Invest India for organizing this wonderful session, and my special thanks also to Ms. Carmel and Mr. Matteo for hearing us out. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahajan from Tamil Nadu. Your presentation was very interesting. I'd like to thank all our speakers today for their presentations. We have learned a lot about 3 more amazing states within India. We are at the top of the hour, so if you have any questions, please either email them or use the chat function while the webinar is still live. But you can email them to us. My email address is on the screen, and I will ensure that those questions are answered. We've already had some received, and we'll make sure they're answered. Remember, the Ethical Toy Programme, Asia Toy and Play Association, and Invest India are here to support you. So please do get in touch to discuss your needs and to understand the support that is available for you. We have recorded this webinar, so it will be emailed to everyone shortly. And we'll also share with you the slides that were presented today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance and the information sharing, and have a good day. Take care.